Greetings, everyone. We are on our live broadcast. This is our Anger Management 101. We're happy to be back on tonight, hoping everyone is well and can hear, and not only hear, but see what we are presenting tonight or sharing with you all. Tonight is March 30th, and we want to encourage everybody to come and join us each time we broadcast, and not only join us, but invite somebody to come and listen to what we're bringing forth tonight and other nights. Want to remind the Restructuring that we would like for you all to make sure that you are asking Maid Parson for a certification so that we can continuously see funding to present these broadcasts live on whatever platform that we are using. Right now, we're sending this live broadcast from Studio to Facebook as well as YouTube. So we have all the way we can move on with our food for thought. The food for thought tonight is I soft and gentle and thoughtful answers that turn away wrong, not harsh and painful and careless words that stir up anger. I know that death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it and indulge it will eat its fruit and bear the consequences of their words. And this was adapted from Proverbs 15 and 4, also 18 and 21. Moving right along, and we're going to discuss tonight, of course, anger. And I want to look at some bullets that we have pulled out of our notes. Feeling of anger. Feelings of anger aren't considered a mental health disorder, but we want to remind you that it is a symptom of several mental health conditions. An underlying mental health disorder can cause intense annoyance for some people. And just like to give you some examples of the mental health disorders that can lead to unhealthy feelings of anger, the first one we want to present is depression. The irritability caused by depression can trigger angriness. I've seen it so many times. Anxiety, the unsettled, jumpy feeling, can lead to annoyance if there is no reasonable explanation behind the emotion. Personality disorders. Personality disorders include traits that affect how people behave and relate to others. And these personality disorders can contribute to angriness because they interfere with relationships and social interactions. Um, I just want to pause a moment and talk about those personality disorders that contribute to angriness and how they interfere with relationships. Oftentimes, we see people who are in a relationship because of things that happened in their past. And because it has caused a personality disorder, they can't really have the right relationship that they so desire or that they should have because of their personality disorders or disorder. They not always have to be more than one, but a lot of times it is. And you cannot interact socially because of these different personality disorders. Anxiety, we just talked about a little bit. The unsettled, jumpy feeling can lead to annoyance that there is no reasonable explanation behind the emotion. Well, seen that oftentimes, and I know that when you see someone that has anxiety, you prefer them not to be the designated driver or the designated person operating anything that will put you in harm's way. So we have to consider all this. And even about depression, the irritability caused by depression triggers angriness, but also too, uh, we want to talk about how depression will cause you just to bottom out, fall asleep, you know. So it's important how that we fix this, get some help and treatment so that you can get through these different disorders. Post traumatic stress disorder, and that most people know that PTSD, it triggers flashbacks, it makes you have nightmares that reenact traumatic events. So, you know, we don't want to relive things that traumatize us. So, what do? Those who have experienced trauma may become very upset over minor issues and lash out inappropriately. Well, when you see somebody do that, you know something is wrong. So you get in the anger management class, or if that's not enough, you might even have to seek counseling so that you can stop the trigger points, the flashback, the nightmares, um, and also behaving inappropriately. Obsessive compulsive disorder, which you've heard oftentimes known as OCD. And the symptoms of OCD are repetitive thoughts, an urge that drives sufferer into obsessive cycles of cleaning, checking, washing, counting, repeating, ordering, hoarding, etc. Now, I'd like to pause there. People don't think that OCD is a problem, but it is. And it's not just with repeated thoughts, but as I just read, an urge that drives you into obsessive cycles. Um, I can't say that I had OCD, but I could have because I didn't know what it was back then. But I used to be an obsessive cleaner. I love the cleaners one time because I just wanted things appropriate. I wanted things to be spotless. Now, if you come to my house now, it's not like that. But, and I always don't feel like doing it physically, but God knows the desire is here. Checking, they're always checking something, always looking at something because you want to check something out because you got to find out what you don't like, what you need to change, what you want to change. So you are the checker. Washing. I know people who has to wash every single day. Now I'm not that bad, but some people like to wash every day, and you can be obsessed in that. You can have OCD from being a washer that is washing too much, counting, counting how much money, counting how many times the person is doing whatever you don't want them to do, counting in many areas, obsessive thoughts. I know some people can relate to that, and compulsive behaviors, or even having someone or something ability to carry out a ritual. So these are obsessive compulsive disorders. And here I go. Check yourself. You can be a now. Don't necessarily OCD or practice it. It is good to check yourself to see why are you behaving this way. Why are you doing these things, and how your ability is to carry out a ritual. The next one that we're going to talk about is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. ADHD is better known. Um, I remember when all of a sudden people start getting the kids start getting treatment in schools for ADHD, ADD, all the different DHD, common symptoms of restlessness. And don't get it wrong, children are not the only ones who have this disorder. I've seen adults have this disorder of restlessness. They can't focus, and you're teaching, and you say, "Excuse me, excuse me, you know what I said? Can you repeat what I just said?" No, because they're not focusing, and oftentimes poor time management or planning skills can result in a short temper and angriness. Bipolar disorder, the dramatic mood shifts caused by this brain disorder may cause feelings of anger, rage, and periods of irritability. I'm reminded that somebody told me that they had, this was years ago, they lived in a certain complex. And every time something happened that it was irritating him or her, or they become in a rage, they became angry. They said, "Well, you know, I'm bipolar." So they understood that they would go through these mood shifts. They understood that they would act out of order. So they also knew too if they take the medication that they would have it so bad, or if they would go to wrestling. They could have it so bad. And I'm not criticizing anybody, but I'm just trying to uh, inspire you to take charge of your health so that you can control irritability, anger, rage. And we already talked about the anger meter. You're not as bad off if you're down from a level of 0 to maybe 4. When you start picking up the scale and you get up at number 6, going up to 10, and you are out of control and you are in trouble. So I think it's more beneficial if you just work on it while you're at a lower level so that you will not become out of control. There are medications used in the treatment of mental health illness that can lead to angriness. I'm finding that oftentimes we are prescribed different prescriptions that can set you off. I had somebody share with me that it made them be irritable. It made them to get angry. It made them to be uh, having some other effects, and they knew it wasn't them. So they took themselves off the medication, which I don't blame them. And that's what I was saying last night. All prescriptions are not for everybody. And we got to realize that oftentimes we're uh, being tested. We don't really know what it will take to heal us or to stop the different disorders happening to us. But so they just test it. I know that I just was on a medication. I'm like, oh my. I didn't like how it made me feel. I didn't like the fact that it made me sweat. So I had to think about, and for those of you all who were in the broadcast, on the broadcast last night, we talked about the whole man, the threefold nature of man. And in order for us to be made whole, we have to work on the body, soul, and spirit. So that's important. And I will continue to repeat it, not just in the families, but in anger management, Parsons Act, our grief series, and any other broadcast that we may bring to you. Um, okay, the medications that we talk about is antidepressants, antipsychotics, and antihistamines. If you take medications for a mental condition, talk to your health professional if you notice signs of anger management issues, because some medications will make you somebody that you're not. I mean, so bad that you could get charged. You could end up being carried out in a straight jacket or whatever. So you got to pay attention to how you are normally. And if you see yourself becoming somebody that you're not used to being, then it's time to do some research. And what are you talking about? I'm talking about seeking for somebody that can get you back on track, that you might have to be taken and be put on another drug, or stop the medication altogether. And sometimes all it takes is talking. talking to somebody. Go to a group session and talk out whatever you're going through. And if you know signs of anger management issues, um, they might recommend changing doses or switching medication. I hope everyone so far is understanding what I am presenting tonight, but we want not just the community of Hagerstown, but everyone who's listening across the United States, and even I found out we have listeners overseas. So we want everybody to be informed, have awareness of what you can do to be a healthy individual. Next, we're going to talk about cognitive restructuring techniques and what it includes. Learn to identify feelings. When your stress levels have risen, instead of automatically rejecting those feelings, after determining what's upsetting you and causing you to feel anxious or afraid, ask yourself whether these feelings are justified. What are you saying? Sometimes we keep things, we suppress things for years, and we have stress levels, and they keep rising more and more and more and more and more. But you must realize what's upsetting you and causing you to feel anxious or afraid, and whether these feelings are really justified keeping them. I say get rid of them. It's better for you to get rid of this because it's not doing you any good. Anything that's not good, get rid of it. So learn to identify feelings. Practicing relaxation techniques, we have talked about that a couple of times, and I cannot interact it enough, but it does help with deep breathing before responding to stressful situations to regain mental clarity and take control of your actions. Slowly slowing down your breathing gives you time to calm down and analyze the situation, preventing actions you would regret. And we can go through that a little bit right now. Let's do it. Take a deep breath. Release. Take in again. Somebody might say, she is asking too much and she is making me upset. Take a deep breath. Let go. You'll feel better and you'll think before you do that. So I just want to remind you of practicing relaxation techniques. It will help you. I'm reminded one of our instructors or counselors said you get out there and you go for a walk up a hill and you come back down and you go back up a few times, you're not going to want to argue with anybody or get mad at anybody because you want to be exhausted. And all you're going to do is leave it alone. So we just have to think of various techniques that we can use to think better, to react better. Changing negative self talk. changing self-defeating statements, using always and never more helpful phrases such as sometimes, usually, and rarely can release yourself from expectations of perfection. These strategies for anger management also help you develop realistic goals and avoid unrealistic demands on yourself. I hope you're getting what I am talking about. We have covered much so far, and it is 7:56, so we have at least um, 20 minutes left on our broadcast. Identifying and challenging irrational fears. Fear often leads to angriness because we fear things without knowing exactly how they could harm us. Now, I know that I said that I don't usually, but I'm finding myself since we're talking about the whole man. If we think about the spirit, God said He has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and of sound mind. So why are we fearful? So we have to think about, am I applying this in every area of me? Am I dealing with it mentally? Am I dealing with it physically? Am I dealing with it spiritually? Identify any specific fears that trigger anger and work through each one individually until you understand their origin. That's why we're bringing awareness to you tonight so that you can become aware of any particular fear that triggers your anger. And when you do, work through each one until you understand where it originated. After determining the source of your anxiety, you can begin to challenge, 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 challenge. I hope you're getting it. It's validity, validity. Oh, I'm trying to get tongue tied, but I'm not going there. Challenge, it's validity. Rehearse responses to difficult situations ahead of time. Rehearsal for an anger response helps you practice what you want to say or do. I was on a call with somebody, and this person was praising somebody. So, they did an excellent job. So practice makes you perfect. So I can relate to this bullet about rehearsal for anger response. Helps you practice what you want to say or do. And as you rehearse, you are more comfortable. Not only are you more comfortable, but you will think before you speak. You will think before you act. And it also allows you to learn how to problem solve difficult situations. Communication skills help you control your emotions when you feel angry or upset. You may avoid an argument and the effects of angriness if you learn how to communicate effectively with others. Have I, um, what's the word I want to use? Have I perfected in that situation. I'm growing. I am learning the more how important communication is, because if you do not communicate, you can't control your emotions, and your anger will upset you more, and not only will it upset you, but the anger meter will cause you to go in a rage, will cause you to be violent, and other consequences will come. So you can or may avoid an argument at the effects of angriness if you learn how to communicate effectively. It's you can communicate, but if it's not effective, I remember some time ago there was a book out talking effectively, and you can talk all day long, but if it's not effective, it's all in vain. So we have to learn how to effectively communicate with others. Okay, identifying and challenging irrational fears. Fear often leads to angriness because we fear things without knowing exactly how they can harm us. Did I repeat that? Yeah, that's a duplicate. I'm so sorry. I duplicated that. But it was a good, these were some good nuggets, some good bullets to present to you. So I guess uh, I just redid it. But we're moving along because I think that you are getting what is communicated to you tonight. I believe that if you need to go over any of these bullets, that you have uh, access to these videos, these broadcasts that are on Facebook and on YouTube. So we don't want you to feel like, oh, I missed that, or I didn't get all that. And everybody doesn't have paper and pen where they are. So we're making this available so that you can go back to it and get all that you need to bring you awareness and educate you in how to become the healthy individual you so desire to be. Okay, it is 8:03, and the conclusion of this is, even though angriness is a human emotion, we don't have to let it control us. Healthy anger. Oh, you're telling me that there can be a healthy anger? Yes, it can. But we talk about healthy anger management allows human emotion of angriness without dictating our interactions with others or losing control. Mental health professionals can provide counseling one on one or in small groups to help those struggling with chronic anger or symptoms of angriness. Anger management classes can change your quality of life as well as the life of those you love. And what are you saying? I've seen so many people have anger issues, and yes, it got so bad that they were ordered to go to anger management. And you'd be surprised how it saved them from going to prison because they did some things that they weren't too happy about because they did not think before they reacted. But because they listened to someone and got into an anger management. And not only that, they were dealing with other issues that they had going on in their life. That by the time they went to court, they did not get any time or a sentence. So sometimes, when you have a chance to think and about what you did and how you should have, and enter in a group session or individual session, and sometimes even therapy, uh, seeing a doctor, a psychiatrist, or even your primary care doctor might say, well, you need some medicine until a certain time, and they see how you react with it for a period of time. I wouldn't recommend nobody to be on medication for the rest of their life unless it's that bad. But I believe that if we take control of the threefold nature of man, that we can heal and we can change before it's too late. Now, there was something else that I wanted to bring out, and it's not on our outline or even in our description of what we were going into, but wanted to start on it because we are approaching swiftly. It is 8:07, and I did want to see if anybody had any questions or comments, and we are allowing you to come into the broadcast and post your comments or ask your questions. And I realize everybody is not a talker. Everybody doesn't want everybody in their business. But somebody may feel like, well, I need some questions answered. I'm opening up for the next 5 minutes. Might not even be 5 minutes because I don't like to just sit here and not have any response. But countdown, I'm trying to see if anybody, I'm going to do a countdown. Okay, I gave you 30 seconds and I don't see any comments. I don't see any questions. It's been great speaking to you here on the broadcast. I would like to remind you if you're following on Thursday nights, tomorrow night is Parsons Act, which is Parsons Alcohol Chemical Training Services. And anybody is welcome. You don't have to uh, be local to join us because I believe that we can educate ourselves more and more and more. Uh, may not be a drug addict, may not be abuser, may not be addicted to chemicals, but we can learn how that our lives were impacted by such uh, trauma from those who were in our lives. And so we just want to make everybody welcome to come and view the broadcast, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. That will be at 7:30 tomorrow evening. On Friday evening, Dr. Key will be back as my co-host for our grief series. He is back from his mission out of the country. We thank God for him come back safely. So at 8 o'clock on Friday evening, April the 1st, and I know everybody says April Fool's Day, but you're going to be fooled if you miss out on something that you so desperately need. And I'm not calling anybody no fool, don't get me wrong, but it would be foolish of me not to even, because I'm being helped as well through the grief series, because we all have some type of grief. With this pandemic, many things have taken place. So we want people to get through the rest of this pandemic. People are going through, they don't know how to deal with this war, because they have lost family members. It might not be told you who is a family member in the war. However, some Americans have died over there. Some people have been affected by the war. Even the economy has changed drastically because of the war. So I think that we don't have to be foolish because it's April Fool's Day, but we can make ourselves more knowledgeable and more at peace. And let's do it together. Let's get together and be healed. So I will end this session and I'll see you sometime soon. Whatever broadcast you come on, I may not see you face to face, but I know that somebody is listening. So we just pray for you and you pray for me. God bless.